week and got a good result, a draw. And I just feel that it's a question of being, I suppose it's being in the game. You say, well, it's their turn now. It's as simple as that. Both teams are that close anyway.
OK, so you're both edging towards Manchester United. There's one unfamiliar figure, though, in this United lineup, and that is Mark Higgins, former Everton captain, didn't play a game last season. In fact, he retired and picked up his insurance money, but back again today. Ian, a remarkable story.
It is a great story, and I'm delighted to see Big Mark back. And really and truly, if he can sustain it, Jim, and we don't know about that, but if he can sustain it, he's much better playing for the next 6 or 7 years than sitting in the touchline, you know, picking up his insurance money. I hope he does well.
Do you remember playing against his old man, Big John, at Bolton? Big John Higgins?
Yes, I did.
Oh, it used to be great up there on a January morning, didn't it? You know, we did, hey up, Pansy's up from London.
Right, well, there's
Chris Turner.
Moving on from Higgins to Chris Turner, now in goal, on merit, in place of Gary Bailey. And you've been watching the keeping situation up here pretty closely.
Well, I actually worked with Chris Turner some years ago when I was at Sheffield Wednesday as a coach, and I've known him since he was a lad. And I think he's a super keeper. A little shade small maybe, but still a first-class goalkeeper.
And moving on to the other end, and big Phil Parkes. Jimmy Greaves, you rate this fellow very, very highly indeed.
Well, I think, Jim, with the advent of Ray Clements not wanting to go to Mexico, Peter Shilton being our main keeper, you look around, I know he's 35, but age don't take that much importance. You look around and you say, well, who have we got? Chris Woods, Gary Bailey. Well, Gary Bailey's not even playing for Manchester United. There's one or two other lads, but this guy is as safe a goalkeeper as I've seen in the First Division for many a long season, as his record proves. He's played a lot of games.
He's up there with the best, isn't he?
That's right, and I think Bobby Robson could do worse to look at the fella and take him along, because one thing for sure, he is reliable. And that's what we're looking for, is a bit of reliability.
Now then, there's Big Ron Atkinson, Ian, with United still feeling they could be in with a chance of a cup and league double. Where do his priorities lie finally?
Well, this is a crunch game for Big Ron, because, I mean, the league, funny enough, I think is slipping away from them. So he's got to do something in a cup, Jimmy, and Big Ron's nerves must be tingling today. This is a very important game for him.
He must be wondering whether to change his chewing gum or not,
OK, St. Greavesy, thanks very much indeed. Let's join our commentary team then. The Luton Town manager, David Pleat, is with us once again. And a very good afternoon to Brian Moore as well.
Thank you, Jim. Our first job today to check on the two teams. Manchester United with Chris Turner in goal, as we've seen, who's taken over from Gary Bailey. And the change we've heard about in the back four, Kevin Moran out injured. 27-year-old Mark Higgins faces First Division opposition for the first time for more than 2 years after that long-standing pelvic injury. Of course, they're without Brian Robson in the midfield, Olsen, Strachan, Gibson, Whiteside. Whiteside with a good scoring record against West Ham, in point of fact. And then up front, Mark Hughes, fit after a knock on the hip at West Ham, alongside Frank Stapleton, who scored the equaliser that night. West Ham, I suppose, they come bolstered by the fact that at least they can name an unchanged side, with Phil Parkes in goal. A back four that again sees young George Paris at left back. He came on at right back, remember, in that memorable live game at Upton Park. In midfield, a good balance with Mark Ward operating down the right and Alan Devonshire on the left. And then up front, the men who really do the damage. Frank McAvenny, 21 goals. Tony Cottee, 16. The referee is Brian Stevens from Stonehouse in Gloucestershire. The first time he's ever taken charge of a game at Old Trafford. West Ham in a changed strip of white shirts and light blue shorts will be the side getting us underway. With a bad record here, in point of fact. They've lost 4 on the trot here in Cup and League over the last 2 seasons. They know it's an afternoon of spirit and defiance above all else that they've got to show. Gibson almost getting in, and Stewart almost in trouble in the opening seconds of the game. Kept his nerve and kept his head and got in a good clearance. In point of fact, the flag was up. Where do your sympathies lie, David Pleat?
Well, I don't think it's a question of sympathies. I think the onus is on Manchester. It's always difficult when you've gone away from home in the second game. But West Ham are a very resolute side. They've got a very good team pattern and a good spirit.
And Cottee getting in there. Can Cottee... Well, he was very nearly put in by the header by McAvenny, and Chris Turner quickly showing his value. The cross coming in again towards McAvenny. And it was Duxbury's header who got that away. And Stewart finding Paris. Now to Tony Gale. That was a sprightly little opening there for West Ham, David.
Yes, I was just going to say that Manchester United wouldn't be foolish enough to underestimate this game today. The job is only half done, and West Ham are very much in it. They've played each other 3 times this season. They've all had a result.
That's Pike. And McGrath coming out of the debris, finding little Colin Gibson. And his pass to Olsen goes to touch. McAvenny. West Ham have lost here in the league this season and lost by 1-0 in the Milk Cup here this season as well. West Ham, of course, won that memorable game in the league at Upton Park, and then the draw on Wednesday. The 5th time they've met this season. There's Frank Stapleton wanting something in the air. Albiston with the kick. Martin up, and Colin Gibson. Alvin Martin again, but climbing all over Mark Hughes. So much speculation about this young man going to Barcelona for £2 million at the end of the season. Talk about that in just a moment. And it's Paul McGrath with the free kick. And Martin up again well, as he needed to be. McGrath's header once more. Colin Gibson. Another free kick to Manchester United. Yes, the talk of Mark Hughes going to Barcelona, and one newspaper report today saying that Peter Davenport of Nottingham Forest will become a Manchester United player within the week. Today, Ron Atkinson has said that is a little premature, but he is hoping to have talks with Brian Clough sometime during the next 7 days. Olsen, brought down there by Ward, and the referee is going to book the young midfielder for West Ham. That was a clumsy challenge, David Pleat.
Well, it was born out of desperation. Sadly to say, the boy had no alternative. He deserves to be booked. It's quite right, the referee.
This is the moment. Yes, pulling at Olsen as he wriggled his way towards the edge of the penalty area. There could be a problem here for West Ham. Stapleton, powerful with the head, is deep in the penalty area. McGrath is also well in there, and Higgins has come up too. And Brian Stevens will insist that the West Ham wall goes back the full 10 yards. Colin Gibson with the free kick, and it was Dickens who got it away. Albiston trying to get in the second shot, but it's a goal kick to West Ham. Phil Parkes, 35 years old. 6'3" of him. Dickens with the header. It was his header that cleared the danger in the first place for West Ham. It's been a really cloudy, overcast morning, but the sun now beginning to peep through. And as Jim was saying earlier on, the pitch was very heavily watered this morning. Much more grass on the far side than there is on this side, where the stand apparently casts a shadow, and this side of the Old Trafford pitch doesn't get too much of the sunshine. Hence there's a shortage of grass. Ray Stewart now for West Ham. That's a good, tantalising cross, but there was nobody from West Ham there. Paul McGrath comfortably getting it away for Manchester United. It's with Albiston. Martin challenging Hughes, and that time there must have been an elbow from Mark Hughes. That was suggested by the referee at any rate. It's a free kick for West Ham. A big test for Alvin Martin again today, David, looking after Mark Hughes.
I think it's going to be an exciting confrontation. Certainly at West Ham during the week, Hughes and Martin were at each other for the full period, and it was quite tough, I believe.
This is Ward. Now it's Martin. Ventured forward. Devonshire just with a little flick for George Paris. Stapleton. Clever play, but Devonshire's there for West Ham. Now McGrath for Manchester United. This is Tony Gale, dinking it forward again. Slight miscue there by Tony Gale. Little Gordon Strachan. Seven minutes of the game gone. No score in this fifth round replay. Manchester United 0, West Ham 0. Paris in quickly. He's a good versatile young defender, this young man. He played right back and played well in the game we saw a few weeks back at Upton Park. But most of the pre-season he spent as a left back, and he can also play in the midfield. Here's Strachan, a lovely ball, finding Jesper Olsen. Stewart's going across to cover. And he comes through for Gibson. And somehow they kept it out. An amazing amount of space for Jesper Olsen on the far side. And he was picked out beautifully. And Gibson caused West Ham a lot of trouble there. He turned Martin well, and the deflection went away for the corner, which Strachan will take. Well, that might go anywhere. For a moment, there were shades of that Liverpool trauma on Wednesday night in the 6-yard area that led to an own goal, but that time it fell away safely for West Ham. Jesper Olsen for Manchester United. United putting in a good early spell here, keeping the pressure on West Ham, and it's with Arthur Albiston, space on that far side again for Stapleton. West Ham really with the backs to the wall now. Stapleton shot and another goal kick. Sides met here in the 6th round of the FA Cup last season when Manchester United won 4-2. And Norman Whiteside that day got a hat-trick. It was Whiteside's goal, incidentally, that separated the two sides here in the Milk Cup this season. So West Ham are well aware of the young man's capabilities, but Ward has now given it to Olsen, but the flag is up on the far side. And the referee either didn't spot it or took no notice of it. There was definitely a flag up there. Hughes now. And Martin winkling it away. But no conviction in that clearance at all. It comes to Albiston and the pressure is still on them. Hughes getting a shot on the turn.
In the previous incident, Brian Stevens, the referee, acknowledged the linesman's decision straight away and decided that he had a better view and to play on.
Mr. Devonshire. Duxbury. Stapleton, a good header. And Strachan just keeping it in. And did well to find Frank Stapleton again for Manchester United. This could be dangerous. And Park's in a lot of trouble. Hughes almost got there. Gibson almost got there. And Park's luck held. And so did West Ham's. A really tantalising ball this in from Frank Stapleton. And Park's just getting it away from Hughes and from Gibson. McGrath with the header. Ward playing it in. Cottee hoping to get in behind them. Looking for Pike. But some good defending that time by Colin Gibson. And two players are down, Olsen and Cottee on the far side. Paris, no handball. Finding McAvenny. Both the injured players are up on the far side. Pike for West Ham. A game already beginning to blossom and being played once again at a furious pace. And I get the impression, David Pleat, we're going to have another afternoon where you dare not take your eyes off it for a moment.
Yeah, it's looking good. We knew that if West Ham could withstand an early surge by Manchester and begin to knock the ball about, Manchester won't be able to settle.
A shot from Jeff Pike, who missed most of the first half of the season with injury. In fact, he came back into the side for the league game against Manchester United at Upton Park. And it's Chris Turner. The record books give him as a 6-footer. I must say, he always strikes me as being an inch or two under that, but looks might be deceptive. Positive work there by Higgins. Here's Devonshire. Good run this. And the shot at the end of it, well covered by Chris Turner. Hughes, a good jump. And one by Stapleton, which is what you'd expect. But then Alvin Martin finding Devonshire. Free kick to West Ham. Devonshire can be such an influence in this West Ham side. I think John Lyall always says, David, that he feels that opposing managers, this is the first man they consider when they think about playing West Ham.
I think so. Once he starts cutting in at pace, he can really disturb the balance of your midfield. He's got terrific pace, beautiful control, and although he plays very deep at times, he can change defence into attack very quickly with his speed.
There he is again with a header, but this time going to Paul McGrath. Alvin Martin up. Whiteside versus Devonshire again. Some work here for George Paris to do, but he does it well. Finds Cottee in turn for Devonshire. Good play here by West Ham, and looking for the speed of McAvenny to embarrass Mark Higgins. McAvenny doing well just across the goal. Well, the man who scored 21 goals this season again gave an example of his speed, but on that occasion not his finishing power. I wonder maybe whether Mark Higgins, who hasn't had a lot of first-team experience, as we know, in recent years, how he'll fare against the pace of Cottee and McAvenny. David, please.
I think his great problem early on will be nerves. It's a massive occasion for him. Although he's in his mid-20s now, it's as big an occasion as when he first played at Wembley as a 15-year-old schoolboy. But it's a wonderful thing for him to come back into league football after apparently being told that he's never going to play again. So he'll be very nervous.
This is Gibson. Good save by Parks. The action fast and furious at both ends now. Jump by McGrath. Ward getting in first. Pike hitting it straight at Olsen. Now it's with Albiston. Albiston again. Whiteside. Get under that one, he says to Frank Stapleton. And Duxbury is there in close support. Here is Mickey Duxbury. Strachan getting a nice 1-2 going here with Stapleton, but then it falls for Alan Dickens. He was a little slow there, Dickens, and Gibson was able to dispossess him. And here's Gibson again. He's everywhere at the moment, Colin Gibson. But his cross stabbed away there by Gale, and in the end cleared by Stewart. I think Gibson was a player a lot of people were surprised when Ron Atkinson stepped in and bought him from Aston Villa, but he really has blossomed in his short time here. And as I told you the last time we saw them, Ron Atkinson saying to Bobby Robson, if you're looking for a man who can do two jobs in Mexico, midfield and left back, then maybe Colin Gibson's your man. Well, Gibson with this free kick. Hughes and Stapleton. McGrath's up from the back as well. Hit firmly. Dickens getting underneath it, but it goes straight to Whiteside. That wasn't the game plan at all for West Ham, and here's McGrath getting it across. My goodness! Well, how didn't it? An incredible moment there. Hughes on the ground, hits the ball firmly to Parks, who was also on the ground. After some good work here from Paul McGrath. Took a little deflection there. It looked odds on and a goal here, but Parks was equal to it. Still 0-0 then, with just a quarter of an hour gone. Devonshire. Stewart.
Parks' efforts in the early stages have been absolutely tremendous for West Ham. It's a terrific stage for him to show Jimmy Greaves, as prediction, as going to Mexico. Although he's 35, he's got such a massive frame and he's very brave and can spread.
Martin. Ward for West Ham. Cotty's gone away wide on the right. And that's an interesting looking ball, but I think Albiston will get there first and turns it back safely. Duxbury. Hughes. Higgins. Oh. Cotty. Foul by Gibson, and the referee, that was good. He allowed that free kick to be taken quickly. Indications are that the referee's going to give this game every chance. Well, that was Dickens arriving late, but in fact didn't quite make the header. And Devonshire getting in there as well, and finds Pike. And was he obstructed there by Duxbury rather than the edge of the penalty area? It looked suspiciously like it, but referee Stevens said no. And it'll be with Strachan now for Manchester United. Towards Olsen. Ward going in hard, and the ball coming for Stewart. Oh, a misdirected header by Martin. And it's gone to Frank Stapleton. Now for Colin Gibson. Olsen. Good work that time by Martin, setting Dickens free, and his pass is for McAvenny. McGrath's going across there, that'll be a corner. So it'll be Mark Ward with it. Dickens, Gale, McAvenny, Cotty, and Martin all around there. So is Pike with a header! And a goal for West Ham! Jeff Pike. 18 minutes gone, and Pike's first of the season puts West Ham into the lead. A good jump, and over Albiston to the back of the net. David Fleet.
Superb head and a superb ball. Most balls nowadays are thrown towards the near post or beyond the far post. One driven out towards the edge of the box. Good idea and a really firm header. Fully deserved goal.
Now McGrath for Manchester United. Four times they've been here in the last two seasons, West Ham. 4 times they've gone away beaten. And Jeff Pike's first goal of the season now really opens up all sorts of possibilities. Ward, Stewart. No doubt West Ham are thoroughly fired up for this replay. Foul there. And yet when they arrived at the ground today, they looked so relaxed. They were smiling and looked comfortable and in no way really apprehensive, David. And I think from time to time, you do get an indication of the way a side feels by just looking at them when they arrive.
Yeah, well, John Lyle's been at it a long time. He's a very good motivator, and that motivation, he would induce a feeling of calmness about them. All's not lost, and certainly, whatever West Ham pressure come under, they've always got a shape when they get the ball. You always know where Ward is, where Devonshire is, the two strikers, Cotty and McAvenny. So they've got a very good team understanding, and that would give them confidence and heart.
Also, without wishing to fire too many statistics at you, they've conceded only 12 goals in their last 21 games. They are by no means a soft touch, home or away. It's another throw to West Ham. There's the goal scorer, Jeff Pike, if you've just joined us. 20 minutes gone, and West Ham leading by a goal to 0. McAvenny. Another West Ham throw. This time with Stewart. Well, that was a curious header by Ward, giving it to Olsen. And now for Hughes. Here's Dickens, though, for West Ham. Hughes is after him. And that's not a bad ball if Cotty can get there, but McGrath just put his foot down, and that little bit of acceleration got him there first. Duxbury. Gale's header. Now here's Pike. Now McAvenny. It'll come for Devonshire, possibly. Now McGrath. Orbiston. And now Jesper Olsen. David.
Well, one wouldn't expect the understanding between Higgins and the other members of the back four to be as good as if it was with Moran. But a couple of times, the corner that led to the goal West Ham scored came as a result of McAvenny getting beyond McGrath, where he might have held the line and played for an offside. And just now, Cotter going down the left too, with a ball where maybe if there'd been a good understanding between the two central defenders, they would have allowed the man to run and got the offside decision.
It's a throw to Manchester United. Orbiston. Stapleton. No touch there for Olsen. Ray Stewart with the throw for West Ham. And we're now halfway through the first half with West Ham leading by a goal to nil. But if anything is certain in this most uncertain of games, they will have a lot of pressure to withstand West Ham before they can come away from here with a victory. And here's Duxbury. Whiteside, finding Hughes, finding Strachan, finding Gibson, Olsen on the far side, Stapleton close at hand, and also Orbiston. Now Olsen, Arthur Orbiston again, full back with a good dig on him as well, but it'll come for Hughes, and now for Strachan, well struck and well saved. Jesper Olsen again. McAvenny getting a bit caught up there with Higgins. This will be Paris's ball. Oh, that's a poor one given to Strachan. There was every opportunity for West Ham to get out of any trouble there. And, oh, Pike and Strachan having words. There was a clash there. Then there was something clearly that Strachan must have said to Pike. Pike then advanced menacingly some 5 yards. And the referee was quickly in between them. Tony Gale with the free kick. Orbiston. This is Stewart. Cotti offside. And the referee having a very sharp word with Mark Ward about something, and Ward, remembers, already had his name taken. Chris Turner with the clearance for Manchester United. Stapleton's header. Whiteside planting it forward.
If West Ham can keep composed over the next 15 or 20 minutes and keep nice and calm, the demanding crowd will put an even greater pressure on Manchester, and it could well work to West Ham's favour.
It's one of the things about playing at home in a cup tie. It looks as though it's an advantage, but if the crowd gets very anxious and, as you say, very demanding, David, then the problems mount on a side that's already under pressure. And there's no doubt the Old Trafford crowd today expect a Manchester United victory after they'd done what appeared to be the most difficult job down at Upton Park in midweek. Here's Whiteside. Now it's with Hughes. Now Strachan, a nice little touch in for Stapleton. Oh, and there's space for Olsen on that far side again. Ward has tried to cut it off. Olsen's shot is wide, and it's another goal kick. That's 2 or 3 times on that far side that Olsen appears to have been given far more space than is good for West Ham's health.
Well, Strachan is particularly good at switching the play into that area, and Stewart's having to get round on the cover, but to be fair to West Ham, Ward is doing a terrific job, as he always does, to protect Stewart, and it was him, in fact, that came round and put pressure on him to force him to have the hurried shot.
Quick intervention there by Paris, but then Pike loses it, and here's Hughes finding Olsen. Albiston's gone wide on the left for him. Whiteside. And McAvaney, the lone figure up there, which gives Paul McGrath plenty of time to consider what options there are, but the flag is waving for an offside, I imagine, against Mark Hughes. Remarkable that Mark Hughes, in fact, hasn't scored a league goal here since October, and yet he's far and away the top scorer with 13 for Manchester United. Good jump there by Ward. It's not much of him, but he got up really well. Oh, that was a poor one there, Stapleton, and it's put Cotty in, possibly. But McGrath, very accomplished and very positive there. Oh, Strachan. Strachan is through, brought down by Paris. I think it was an accident, to be honest with you, on Paris's point of view. But it certainly stopped Strachan in full stride with Parks alone facing him. What's your feeling, David?
Yeah, he definitely caught him. You know, it was a quick counter and caught him unawares. Paris, of course, has played at right back, and he's a right-footed player. And usually right-footed left-backs tend to cover better. But he was certainly caught out there. And the problem now will be that if West Ham have to defend desperately, they mustn't make any rash challenges. They've already had 2 players booked, and the referee has no option, of course, if a player makes a further misdemeanour, to send him off once he's been booked.
And this is not an occasion where you want to be defending a lead with 10 men. Well, there's Gibson. Charged down by Ward. Whiteside retrieving. Gibson. Pike holding him off. Duxbury, a good header there, keeping United nicely in possession here. Now plays it to Olsen. Back again to Strachan. Spreading it about well. Parks behind this one. Curious clearance that by Phil Parks, going straight to Albiston in an area where there were no West Ham people who could possibly take an advantage of it. Duxbury. Ward really battling for this ball, and Martin sticking so close to him wherever he goes. Strachan. Dickens. So half an hour gone. If you've just joined us for this 5th round replay in the FA Cup at Old Trafford, Manchester United 0, and Jeff Pike's goal after 18 minutes giving the visitors the lead. A header from a corner. Chipping it forward towards Stapleton, played in for Strachan. It was the foot of Devonshire that got a little bit of a clearance there for West Ham. Albiston. And Alvin Martin Finding Stewart. Picking his way down that touchline, and the long ball that sets McAvenny off in chase, but Higgins again is there, playing it safely.
The great danger is that with Manchester United having to force the issue, that West Ham will isolate the strikers, and McAvenny and Cottee won't be able to get the support from behind which they need.
Stewart across towards Cottee, but again McGrath was up well. Finding Stapleton. Dickens in very quickly for West Ham. Foul by Paris on Stapleton. Free kick to Manchester United. 32 minutes gone. West Ham 1-0. Strachan. Well, that'll be easily cut out by Ward. Hasn't got a lot of support up there, but he's going well on his own. Buffeted, and in the end, it was Jesper Olsen forced to concede the corner. It's a good, strong run by the young man. He's only 5'5". There's a bit of muscle on him, and there was a lot of determination there too. David Cleek, very quickly.
Well, once again, Ward picked up that ball in exactly the position that Strachan's looked for 4 times. He's been successful 3 times to Olsen. That time he failed, and Ward took advantage.
Well, here's another corner for West Ham. Swung in again, but Gibson getting that one away for Manchester United. Stewart planting it in there once more. The big men were up, and Gibson's clearance. Only George Paris is back now for West Ham. Phil Parkes flapping his hands downwards, saying, calm down, I'm here. McAvenny. Duxbury. Hughes. Whiteside. Duxbury again. Whiteside to Strachan. Duxbury. Good simple stuff here for Manchester United, but then chipping goes to Martin, and now for Devonshire, a free kick to West Ham, the foul by Duxbury. It's nothing frantic about Manchester United yet. They're trying to play their football calmly, and Clayton Blackmore, the Manchester United substitute. Neil Orr today is the West Ham substitute. Manchester United, who beat Rochdale and Sunderland to get this far. Charlton and Ipswich are West Ham's victims so far. Harris has got the option of getting it back to Parkes, which he takes.
Harris will be in for a hard time this afternoon. The crowd will get at him, but you know, it'd be wise to keep calm, and the referee, I'm sure, will be sensible too.
Olsen finding Stapleton, finding Whiteside. Olsen's on his way again, but stopped that time by Gale. Whiteside spreading it wide, this time for Strachan, playing it in towards Hughes. Gale was up there again, well, cleanly and fairly. Oh, that was a dangerous ball out by Pike. Whiteside, the flick by Hughes. Stapleton with 10 minutes to go to half-time. Strachan. And Martin happy just to push that away. Although it's a free kick to West Ham, pushing down by Hughes. He's done a good job at the back so far, so has he for West Ham. Dickens, nice little glancing backward header. Ward trying to get Cottee in beyond Higgins. McAvenny is waiting in the middle, but there's not much support other than him, although Ward now coming in, and easy for Turner. Duxbury. Showed them to West Ham. Devonshire taking it. McAvenny. Stewart. It's a Manchester United throw. Ward. Deep cross, too deep for any West Ham forwards who were up, and it'll be Duxbury. Back to Turner. Ward playing a good ball in there for Dickens, but McAvenny had strayed offside. Whiteside. Higgins. Now Stewart back to Parks. You're trying to attract my attention to something, David.
I think that when it's like this and West Ham are content at the moment just to play nice and steady, Manchester United have got to stretch them as much as possible, and Strachan's playing 25 yards in field. And if he can get wide and drag Devonshire wider, who's guarding him at the moment, could open room up inside. But at the moment, they're not getting and using the width enough.
Whiteside was in very fiercely indeed there and concedes the free kick. Cottee. It's a good ball played by Cottee. Well, that's not as good as all that. The idea was a good one to try and encourage Paris to make the run down the left flank. It's a throw to Manchester United with about 6 minutes to go to half-time, and West Ham still leading by a goal to nil. Jeff Pike, their scorer, after 18 minutes. Hughes. It was Paris who got the foot in, but it was Hughes who got the header in, and now it's Martin who looks for Devonshire, and here's Strachan. Gale gets it back. Curiously, for the last 10 minutes or so, a lot of the passion has gone out of the game. I can't think why, can you?
Well, West Ham are just playing nice and steady. They'll be delighted to get to half-time in front and give John Lyall an opportunity to once again steady them and make it clear what they have to do in the second half. And they know that. They've had a very settled team all season. This team that's playing today has played together regularly, and the sign of any team that's doing well is the same group of players. And I think this is their strength at this moment.
Well, it's Devonshire with the throw for West Ham. Martin playing it again for Devonshire. Strachan trying to get into him, but still Devonshire resisting that challenge, and then finding Mark Ward on the far side for West Ham. A little dink in to Tony Cottee. Higgins is watching him. Can Cottee do something with this? Played it back there towards Stewart, who drives it in. Ward now with a chance to dink it in. Across that Turner has to come for, and does successfully. Stewart be happy to let that one run out of play. Could almost have been an obstruction there on Jesper Olsen. Well, it's a throw to United at any rate. Time it was Gale putting it away. But the United faithful now beginning to find their voices to urge an equaliser out of United in the 5 minutes that remain of this first half. Gibson, a long cross, and Parks using his fist that time, And the final clearance coming from Ray Stewart. McGrath, who's had an impressive first half. That'll come for Dickens. Ward couldn't keep it in play. Another Manchester United throw. Livingston. Higgins. That might have put him in a bit of trouble. No, Dickens couldn't quite get to Whiteside. McGrath playing it forward once more. Hughes getting in there. And Stapleton. First time there was a little bit of confusion in the West Ham defence, David Fleet.
Yes, he just took the volley too early. Devonshire's got a slight limp at this moment as he worked his way across the box before setting up that splendid West Ham attack. He was caught by Strachan, and I think he's a little bit concerned about his hamstring.
McGrath again, finding Hughes. Whiteside, finding Gibson as United come forward again. Olsen with Arthur Albiston outside him, and again Mark Ward doing that good job, supporting his fullback and getting in and putting the ball away into touch. Jesper Olsen, the flag stays down. The cross comes in, and Strachan couldn't meet it. Albiston said, leave it to me. And now it's with Whiteside. There's space here for big Paul McGrath to come forward. The little chip coming in, an important header there for Martin, and an important touch there for Devonshire, and a free kick for West Ham. As David was saying, he took a little bit of a knock in a clash with Strachan, but he's moving a little more easily now. 2 minutes to go to half-time. Very important milestone for West Ham to reach, with the score remaining at 1-0 for them. They were charging that one down. Dickens looked as though he was running into a cul-de-sac there, but then found there was a way out with Phil Parkes. I spoke of the defiance that West Ham would need to show, and they've certainly shown it in plenty in this opening half. The question is, can they hang on into the second half as well? Stewart crossing it in. McGrath once again, the big barrier there, gets his head to it, and here he is again underneath this one. Now Pike. Now Devonshire. He jinked his way nicely past Strachan. A dummy there by Dickens. McAvenny getting it back, and then Duxbury finding his keeper.
When they do get forward, West Ham, they play very thoughtfully in the last 40 yards.
Jesper Olsen. They might have to play with a bit of grit in the last 40 yards now, because United are coming forward once more. And here's Whiteside in some space. The crowd were baying for a shot, and in the end, Stewart lets it go through for the goal kick. That might have been a little bit dangerous, actually, because Jesper Olsen was just behind him. The crowd wanted a shot from Whiteside there. Indeed, one from Olsen, but it's a goal kick in the end. And we're playing time added on. The referee, in fact, has added none of it. And West Ham go in at half-time with Jeff Pike's goal after 18 minutes, separating the sides in this FA Cup fifth-round replay. You can imagine the drama we're going to get in the second half. We're going to get the views in a moment of Ian St John and Jimmy Greaves with Jim Rosenthal after the break.
Number 1, always use a good quality tea. Number 2, always use freshly drawn water. Everyone knows that one, right? Number 3, Remember to warm the teapot or urn.
Oh, what a palaver. I use new Typhoo 1 cup. Every bag's got just the right amount of tea for one really good cuppa. Oh, what do you think of that?
Excellent. What do you say, Mum? Yes, then tea will revive you.
New Typhoo 1 cup for one perfect cup of oo.
The Col de la Colombière, Haute-Savoie, France. Where better to demonstrate the handling of the new Ford Escort XR3i? As it winds up, you can see how Ford's engineering experts have worked their special magic on the suspension, making the new car handle better than ever. Then, when it heads down, you can see why the XR3i is the first car in its class to offer anti-lock brakes, specially developed for front-wheel drive, so your pride won't be dented by a fall. The new Escort XR3i. You don't stay ahead by standing still.
Jane is carving Tarzan starving jungle thick. He real quick, not even stopping at zebra crossing, but he's lost in the grove, miles from the stove.
He's back where he started. Come and have a crisscross. It's a crispy snack with a cheesy filling for when you're late home to de-wipe under grilling. Can I have a bite? It's as tasty as Jane's crunchy snack. There's only one of her, but there's two in this pack.
So if you fancy a snack, but you're up a gum tree,
crunchy new crisscross from Cadbury.
Follow the spear and get flavor. Follow the spear and have fun. Follow the spear and get Wrigley Spearmint Gum. Follow the spear and get flavor. The taste that's number one. You love that spearmint flavor. Share it with someone. Follow the spear and get Wrigley Spearmint Gum.
Careful, that one's still wet. Drop this.
Tom, is it genuine?
Of course it's genuine. It's Toby. Honest. Good character. Pint you can trust. Can't fake a Toby.
And you can't spell Picasso.
Trust Toby. Good, honest, bitter.
No one has a fresher nibble than KP.
You can now get an extra 10% of the engine's choice.
A modern, efficient telex for only £8 a week. Whispers smaller than other telexes, and it's very, very quiet. Details on 01200 0200.
And hello once again from Old Trafford. So the holders United in trouble, and London's last representatives, West Ham, doing exceptionally well. The Hammers a goal up, and the two boys perhaps with a bit of egg on their faces at this stage anyway. But Ian, really the Hammers good value for that lead.
Yeah, totally deserved, Jim. We've been very impressed with West Ham, playing good football, and really United can't complain going in 1-0 down at half-time.
Jimmy, your assessment?
They've been the better side. I don't think we've got egg on our face. Well, there's no eggs up here, Jim. But at the moment, West Ham are the much better team. Yeah, they are. You know.
And the goal was really one out of the blue, wasn't it? One that little Pikey will remember for a very long time.
Not much you can say about this one, is there?
Well, again, the marking, what I thought, Jim, was a little bit slack. Even though he was at the edge of the box, you've still got to pick people up there, and he was allowed to run at it. But we were just saying during interval the power he got in it, and it reminded us of the old greats of the past, Tommy Lawton's and them, who headed balls.
And Big Nat Loftus and people. Yeah, I mean, they used to head balls like that all the time, but you never see it in the game today so much. It's all flicks and that. But that was some header.
And the corner took United totally by surprise, didn't it? Because they'd all banked up as per normal.
Yeah, but 5 minutes later, there was another corner kick, and Pike, we watched for Pike, and there he was standing on his own again.
Actually, I got an idea. It's a goal that took everybody by surprise. The fellow who took the corner, Mark Ward, Pikey who headed it, it, and I think everyone was
Everybody in the
surprised.
ground, actually.
No, I know,
Ground.
Jimmy, you in particular have been very impressed by the way that McAvenny and Cottee have been really causing the United defence a lot of problems.
They have indeed, Jim. What's been happening is the lads in the middle of the park have been playing it down the channels, you know, and the two boys have been running very well for it. And McAvenny's been showing some great control here. I mean, he's turned him inside out there, and it was not a very good finish, but that's the sort of thing that's been happening. And I think if they continue to do that, they're going to really cause Manchester United a lot of problems.
Mark Higgins, you know, it's his second big game, Jim.
Yes.
And really his first big game because he only played against Rochdale before. You know, I mean,
People
against
at Rochdale
Rochdale.
will be impressed against that.
But today, I think against these two boys, he's feeling it a little bit, and it's understandable.
Yes.
And I think he's getting caught out just a little.
Yeah. Just let's have a look at probably United's best moment, I would think, of that half. And Phil Parkes, who, Jimmy, you've been touting for England, earning his corn here.
Yeah, he did as well, didn't he? It was a good stop on the line there, and he was back in it, Parksy there. I thought, who was it, Big McGrath? Crossed it, overran it a little bit. It would have been nicer to have seen him get it in a little bit earlier from United's point of view. I think it probably would have been a bit more dangerous.
It's been all hurly-burly as far as United are concerned. You know, that anything they're getting is snatching at it. You know, you can see, I think, the tension building up. A goal down, the home team expected to win, the crowd beginning to get onto them, and they're not playing as a unit very well.
Right.
I think they're going to be hard to beat now, Jim.
I think they might be. OK, fellas, we will talk again at the end of the match, and we'll be back with the second half live, of course. It's United 0, West Ham 1 at the moment. See you in a couple of minutes.
Since its launch, sales of the Cavalier have rocketed. A family car that drives like a sports car. Small wonder it's taken off. And now with 8 fuel-injected models, it's still a jump ahead of its rivals. The new fuel-injected Vauxhall Cavaliers. Fly one soon.
Janet, come up to the roof for a party. 8 o'clock prompt.
David.
I said 8 o'clock prompt, kid.
Oh, David.
Of all the roofs in all the world, you had to walk onto mine.
The night was made for moonlight.
Mankind sometimes sees things in a rather peculiar way. We often admire works of art almost because of their imperfections. The Danes, however, believe there are 1 or 2 exceptions. Carlsberg, probably the best lager in the world.
Get around a quarter pounder, get a whole bun full of beef. Take your time with a quarter pounder, a McDonald's quarter pounder.
When it's time for real beef in a bun, get around a full quarter pound of 100% pure beef.
Get around a quarter pounder.
With cheese if you choose.
So get down to McDonald's. At McDonald's we've got time for get around a quarter pounder. Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho. It's off to work we go. Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho.
By providing millions of pounds for business and industry, NatWest is helping to create jobs. So now thousands more people are working. NatWest, the Action Bank.
Cool, clean, and protect today's high-performance engines, Esso scientists have developed new Esso Superlube, a high-performance motor oil designed to cope with the stresses of today's high-performance petrol, diesel, and turbocharged engines. These are the cars, this is the oil. New Esso Superlube, the striped protector. Quality at work.
Of course I'll change it, Chairman.
Changing the document just before the meeting wasn't much fun for Marcus. Then he got. And now it only takes a couple of ticks.
For laser printers, fax terminals, and supplies, for a more efficient office, get Xerox in.
Right then, the team's coming out for the second half. Before the action, we have a chance to speak to the injured Manchester United and England skipper, Brian Robson. He's with Martin Tyler.
Brian, do you think West Ham deserved that lead at half-time?
I disagree with Ian a little bit, that he says that he thinks they deserved the lead. I thought it was quite an even match. I thought there was a couple of chances either end. Mark Hughes missed a good chance, and Frank Stapleton had a decent volley as well, which he put over the bar. But I thought the game was fairly even, but West Ham got the break. And the way they're playing at the moment, it looks as if it's going to be difficult for us to break down.
What do you think Manchester United have to do now in the second half?
I think it's important that the lads try and stay patient. And if we can put a few moves together, get the ball wide, get a few crosses in, I think that's the way we're going to score. But I think if they just keep patient and we keep playing, I'm sure we can score a goal.
They're tough to break down, West Ham, these days.
Yes, they are. I mean, a well-organised outfit now. They get everybody back behind the ball, leave McAvaney and Cotty up front. That's another part of the game which we're going to have to be aware of, because Cotty and McAvaney are both very quick, and so we're going to have to keep an eye on them, even though we've got to go chasing the game.
And the very latest on the damaged shoulder?
It's coming on nicely. I'm pleasantly surprised with it at the moment, the amount of movement that I've got in, so I'm just hoping that keeps improving.
From one Brian down here, let's go to another Brian up on the gantry. Back to Brian Moore. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Martin. Right, United then prepare to start the second half, attacking now the Stretford end. Psychologically, that might be important for them. That's where their noisiest supporters are, and it's going to need a lot of willpower from West Ham in defence now to withstand the pressure of the 45 minutes that remain. I think, David Pleat, you've got a sneaking feeling that United are well capable of saving this game.
I think 45 minutes is a fair amount of time if they're good enough. I think they can get a goal. I think their pride and their passion will take them on into that goal mouth this half, and I really do believe that they will force West Ham back and they'll have to defend desperately.
Well, Devonshire on the far side for West Ham had an excellent first half with young Mark Ward doing so much work in the midfield, but McGrath now, and I thought for a moment he'd found Stapleton, but the ball was curling into the path of Tony Gale. Phil Parks. Gibson with the header. Pike, the scorer for West Ham, and now Devonshire again. Ward turning that well towards Stewart. He a little lucky to find Pike. The nod down again by Dickens for Pike, and Whiteside getting it to Duxbury. And now for Olsen. Hughes holding it up and then finding Gibson, and Stapleton's up ahead of him. Gibson's gone past Gale. Stapleton's in space on the far side. Oh, a tremendous save by Parks, and one by Olsen. Oh, that's the first time I think that Hughes has looked really, really dangerous, and he's hobbling a little bit at the moment. What a mistake by Paris, and it falls there for Hughes, and a tremendous piece of keeping by Phil Parks. I'll get David Pleat to tell us about that, his impressions of that in a moment. There's no time now, because here come United again with Stapleton. Letting Olsen in this time. The cross is low, and it's stopped by Alvin Martin. McAvaney, right side. The Reds coming forward again. Colin Gibson looking to get in a scoring position, though. Changes his mind and finds Strachan. There's the cross coming into Stapleton. Well, the save from Parks.
I think United have set an early pattern. They're going to be hammering away at Parks. They'll need all his agility and experience to keep them at bay. But I do feel goalkeepers are like good wine. The longer they stand, the better they become. And he's got good allies, Shilton, Jennings and Clements. Are four of the most experienced keepers in the First Division, and it is arguably four possibly the most consistent.
In fact, he was telling me the other day that Phil Parks was telling me the other day that Pat Jennings at 41, playing as well as ever probably, is the man who's really inspiring him to go on. Harris getting that away. McGrath once more for Manchester United. A sparkling start to this second half. Strachan. Away goes Stapleton. Jesper Olsen in the middle. Gibson coming up fast as well. And again Parks is down. Well, a repetition of the opening minutes of the first half when Parks was called into action so often. Here we've got it again in the second.
Already United have got into advanced positions 3 times. Stapleton there, Gibson, and down the left-hand side as well. And I think they've got to get round the back of them. They started right in the right frame of mind.
Ward, but the ball had gone out of play. It's going to be a throw. Little Mark Ward, who was discarded by Everton in his earlier days. He went to Northwich Victoria, and then to Oldham, and then to West Ham. Here's Ward again. Another throw to Manchester United.
Hughes seems to have raised his game a gear. In the first half, he played a lot with his back to goal, as he's doing here now. But in the second half already, he's made a couple of breaks. Runs forward, the dangerous runs, beyond defenders.
I think he may have been gently reminded of the need to do that by his manager at half-time, David. Well, 39 goals in 95 appearances, that's the scoring power, and it's a very respectable rate of scoring too. Pike getting in there. Challenge there from Gibson was a little rash. And the referee wanting a word with him. In fact, I noticed they were having a little flick up once or twice in the first half, those 2 number 11s. And it's a free kick for West Ham. Taking their time over it. They just maybe want to knock United a little bit out of their rhythm, slowing it right down. Tony Gale with it at any rate. Martin bustling on that far side to try and get in with a header. It's with Pike now. This is going to be some second half. Pike again. And here's McGrath. What an impressive figure he is, and what a fine game he's had so far, being pursued by West Ham players. And in the end, it was Dickens, I think, who just got the touch in. And now maybe a chance for Cotty to come in on the break, but the bounce was unkind to him. And it'll be a throw to Manchester United. It's with Whiteside. Now it's with Gibson. And the crowd are roaring them on. It's with Hughes. Into the path of Gibson. Beautifully played there by Hughes. Good play here by United as it finds Jesper Olsen. West Ham backpedaling again. And Stapleton couldn't quite get on the far side with the header. And West Ham were pulled from one side to the other, but still have clung on to their lead. The final cross by Olsen, a good-looking one. Parks couldn't get there, Paris couldn't get there, and Stapleton put it wide.
Superb cross. Absolutely superb cross.
Parks with the goal kick. Hughes again. He looks a different man in this half. Whiteside picking this one up. United look a different side in this half. Ward. Whiteside. Martin. I don't know what your plans are for the rest of the afternoon, but I should tell you that if it does become equal at the end of 90 minutes, if United equalise, we do, of course, get extra time. And if there's a need for another game, that will be at Upton Park on Tuesday. Stewart getting that one away. Only McAvenny is up. It's been all hands to the pump at the other end of the field for West Ham. Higgins getting it away. Neil Orr warming up for West Ham. And it could be, is it Alvin Martin in a little trouble there? McAvenny. A claimed handball by Higgins. Pike went in quickly on Gibson. Dickens taking it away, finding Devonshire, changing the whole point of the game for a moment. Gibson pulling down Devonshire, and it's getting a bit ferocious out there at the moment as Devonshire now goes down. If really both sides have been fired up at half-time, David, that's perfectly clear.
Yeah, well, Gibson was chasing around like a dervish in midfield there, chasing after players. And I thought Brian Stevens just hesitated for a second before deciding to give the free kick to see who gained the advantage.
Stewart with West Ham's free kick. Alvin Martin's gone forward, and so has big Tony Gale as well. Martin battling his way in there, and a penalty has been given to West Ham. A penalty for a foul on Alvin Martin as he charged into that ball, and Ray Stewart is the man who will take it 4 times. He's scored from the spot this season. Now, the push on Alvin Martin gives West Ham a brilliant chance to go 2 goals into the lead. Well, I wouldn't be in his shoes, and I certainly wouldn't be in his. Ray Stewart, who likes to blast them, and does so again. 2-0 to West Ham. There aren't that many West Ham fans who come up here, but there's a selection of them now showing their delight as Stewart hammers the ball wide of Turner, and West Ham 2-0 into the lead. And with West Ham's defensive record so good, 12 conceded in the last 21, it becomes a big task indeed for Manchester United. But here they come, settling into it. McGrath getting it forward, Stapleton! No penalty. My word, the referee had to think hard about that one. That was a bit touch and go, David Fleet.
I don't think Mr. Stevens is going to be the most popular man at 20-5 when this game finishes. That looked justifiable.
It looked a penalty, I must say. Now Hughes. Gibson's little touch. Higgins playing it forward. Stapleton battling with Martin. In goes Dickens, and it's a throw. No, it's a free kick. Which Arthur Orbiston will take. Important really for West Ham now to consolidate themselves over the next 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, to deny Manchester United anything, but they're under pressure again. Pike just getting the touch and getting it away. Now McAvenny for West Ham. Ward getting it away. McAvenny on the break and being held physically, it seemed to me, there by Orbiston, but the ball is back with Chris Turner. Ward, a foul by Whiteside on Ward, and Whiteside is going to be booked. David?
I know United may feel the game is disappearing from them, but they must keep their composure, certainly over the next 20 minutes or so. Regarding the first penalty, when Martin was adjudged to have been fouled, very few referees would have given that against the attacking side.
So it's a free kick to West Ham. Tony Gale with it. Mark Ward directing the play. Martin is up on the far side there. Stapleton with him, but Martin got the header into McAvenny. It'll come for Pike. Trying to find Martin again. Succeeds, gets McAvenny through offside. Flag is up.
I believe last time West Ham, or in 1964, which was the last time they beat Manchester United in FA Cup tie, they went on to win the FA Cup final when they beat Preston. So the Omens, they'll have massive motivation if they get through today.
surprised you, David, as a manager, counting your chickens this early in a game? There's a lot of game left in this cup tie yet.
Well, we at Luton certainly know that. With 20 minutes to go, you can't be safe.
I was about to say, I saw a side yesterday lose a 2-goal lead. Commiserations to you for that. But it was a fine Everton comeback. Now, can Manchester United do the same? They're getting all the encouragement that they could want from their home crowd. And they're getting so much of the ball and so much of the play. Here's Olsen. And Ray Stewart now, the third West Ham player to be booked. Goes into the book with Paris and with Ward. Olsen, the injured player. Let's have a look, David, again at the penalty that was given when Alvin Martin came charging in. The free kick from Ray Stewart, who's just been booked. And it was a little push there by the number 10, Frank Stapleton.
Yes,
that was interesting.
I think Stapleton attempted to block him off, which would have been obstruction, but he failed.
And really, when you look at it that way, you have to say it was a very brave but correct refereeing decision.
It was certainly a brave decision.
You're not saying it's correct. McGrath getting it in. Crotty. McGrath again. Olsen running it out of play. West Ham's ball. A quarter of an hour of the second half gone. And Manchester United with half an hour left to repair the damage of a 2-goal deficit. Nine clean sheets in the last 14 games for Big Phil Parkes. Clearing this one now for West Ham. Ward getting in. The winners of this one, of course, play Sheffield Wednesday. Another foul by Stewart, that time on Hughes. And Ray Stewart will need to watch his step. Hughes in behind them. Paris. Olsen, and another corner. Well, for all their pressure, that's still only the second corner that Manchester United have had in this game. Strachan will take it. Chipped in towards the near post. Martin diving to get it away and bring a bit of respite to that defence. Duxbury playing it wide again. Oh, and little Strachan couldn't get it. It was a poor ball by Duxbury. Jump by McGrath. Stewart with it for West Ham, leading by 2-0. A free kick for some pushing by McAvenny. Manchester United have only lost 3 at home in all competitions so far this season. In real danger of losing the 4th now. Stewart, a free kick. My goodness, he's playing a dangerous game, Ray Stewart. He's been booked twice. He's been penalised for fouls in the last couple of minutes. Alverston playing it in towards Hughes. Stewart's header getting it away, but not very far. George Paris, and then Cottee. And Paris, in fact, leading the charge out, but it's gone back over his head to little Strachan. Gibson playing it inside. Pike will be there. There's no way back to Parkes, though, and so that was maybe the safe way out. But it certainly doesn't relieve the pressure. And you get the feeling that if United, maybe it's an obvious thing to say, but if United get a goal, there would be every chance of them getting another one. Duxbury then. Hughes. And Gibson going in, stopped that time by Gale. Acrobatically away by Cottee. Now Devonshire. Dickens. Harris up again well for West Ham. Devonshire battling away. Duxbury getting loose for Manchester United. Hughes waiting in the middle, and it comes off Dickens. Duxbury again with a cross, a deeper one towards Stapleton. Good jump by Parks. And a foul on the keeper? No. The referee going across to check that he was all right. Higgins lancing it backwards. Turner. Cotty back for Devonshire. Dickens. No, it won't keep it in play. No, it's out of play.
I wonder whether Ron Atkinson are contemplating taking a massive gamble and take one of his back four off and bringing Blackmore on, who's more attackingly orientated.
Probably goes through his mind, and I would think it might be Mark Higgins who would come off. It's getting to the point where he's got to take that sort of gamble. But not if they score here. It's Strachan. And nodded away over his own crossbar and behind by Stewart. It's relentless pressure now from Manchester United. And the severest test maybe that West Ham have had all season in defence now. Corner taken. It's with Strachan in a bit of space. The little dink in by him. Headed the wrong way by Higgins. Duxbury, the lone man back. Whiteside. Here come United again. That's going to be a goal kick. Orbiston won't get there.
He took that ball brilliantly, Whiteside. It was just a shame that his pass was misdirected. There was four waiting in the box.
Pretty heart-stopping stuff, some of this now, David, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the game's going to get even faster, particularly from Manchester's point of view. And of course, the more frenetic it gets from their point of view, you know, West Ham will suck them in and always be likely to counter with McAvenny and Cotter's pace behind the back four pushing forward.
25 minutes to go. West Ham leading by 2-0. Jeff Pike with a header in the first half. Ray Stewart with a penalty in the second. And here are United again with Jesper Olsen. And that came off Gale for another corner. White shirts are all back in their own penalty area. Not one West Ham player outside it now, as Strachan floats it in there once more. It was Dickens who got that header, and in the end it was Gale who walloped it away. Duxbury. Orbiston. Here come United again. Hughes. Little fall for Olsen. A deep across this time. Higgins on the far side, and Gibson too. And McGrath had gone up and stayed up. That's out of play. West Ham's throw. Higgins. McGrath. Gibson. Came off Gale. That came off Pike. Cleared by Dickens to McAvenny, who's got Cotty up there with him, but a foul by Higgins. A free kick to West Ham. As I was saying, David Pleat, it's so important that West Ham do hold on for these next few minutes. Feeling very much after you'd gone 2-0 up against Everton yesterday, that Everton came right back at you almost at once and seemed to be out of it, and then suddenly we're right back in the game again.
Yes, before we had any opportunity to enjoy the advantage. But of course, at this moment...
Pike for McAvenny, and Turner taking emergency action.
But at this moment, they have held the lead for a little period now, and West Ham will be growing in confidence as the game goes on.
Well, here's Whiteside, sweeping a lovely ball here for Orbiston. And now for Olsen. Playing some good stuff, Manchester United. At the moment, they just can't get the finishing touch that really matters. Ward and West Ham are showing such dogged form in defence. Crowd of just over 30,000 here today, 30,441. And they've really had good value, as indeed we hope you're having at home. Paris with the throw for West Ham. McGrath will get it back to Turner. Minutes are ticking by, 22 remaining. Dickens. Paris. There was a little example of their composure. Dickens taking time to look around and gets it to his full-back friend. West Ham's throw.
West Ham have tucked the coloured boy Paris right in now alongside Martin at the back, and Devonshire will play very deep.
That's Albiston's header. There he is again. Hughes versus Martin. Martin's header, good and clean. That'll fall for Pike. A flick in again for an offside McAvenny. It's going to be Turner then with the clearance. Stewart belting it away. McAvenny head down after this one. And the referee fell to the ground for a moment. That's what the cheer was about. And the referee's in a bit of trouble. The referee is in a bit of trouble at the moment. He took a nasty tumble a moment ago. Whether it winded him or not, I don't know. But the referee...
The crowd weren't very happy that the West Ham players were the first to comfort him.
But the referee looks okay. He's moving quite comfortably now. It's going to be a Manchester United throw. And Manchester United about to make a substitution, we think. Pike getting that one away. Not very far. Stapleton now finding Albiston. Crossed in once more. Paris has got to get the header in there. And in the end, Parks, with the help of Devonshire, or maybe without the help of Devonshire, because it looked dicey there for a moment. Strachan's header into Stapleton. A shove there by Devonshire on Strachan. It'll be a free kick to Manchester United.
With West Ham defending so well, United have got to keep putting it into that box as early and as quickly as possible and hope they get a break. It's going to be very tough for them to find a way through.
Well, that was Cottee with a long clearance, and here's McAvenny after it, and he's got there. But the flag was up in any case for a foul on the West Ham striker by Chris Turner. So busy watching the flight of the ball, actually, that I didn't see Turner's follow through. But West Ham are a bit upset about it, and McAvenny is down and injured, and the linesman spotted it well. Now let's see if we can spot it ourselves. Oh, yes, the feet were up there high, and McAvenny, if anything, was, I think, clouted around the face with the follow-through. David?
Well, he's an aggressive fella, McAvenny, anyway. He certainly didn't pull out. Turner came. Turner was late. He had no chance. And he just fortunately didn't quite get it, or unfortunately for West Ham, didn't quite get it right over his head and into the goal. That would have been punishment enough.
Well, there's about 17 minutes left. United have the option of bringing Clayton Blackmore on. We'll just have a look at this free kick first, David Fleet, and then maybe ask you to assess how you feel both sides will want to play this last 15 minutes. But it's Mark Ward behind it. He's got quite a thump on him. It's into the wall. Dickens trying to get it in there. McAvenny also. It's McGrath who gets it away. And here's big Paul McGrath again. Harris there first. And Pike knowing where it's safe again. OK, 15 minutes to go. West Ham leading 2-0. David Fleet.
Well, Manchester United's only chance is to overload and try and get round the back and into advanced positions and get support from behind and get the good early balls into the box. They started the second half very brightly with some good stuff into the box and was slightly unfortunate not to get a second goal. And, of course, the penalty and the fact that Manchester United held them for the important 10 minutes after that penalty has now appeared to knock the stuffing out of Manchester a little bit.
Well, let's see. It's Duxbury finding Whiteside. And now with Albiston. Olsen, winkling it in there. No, the referee looked to see whether there should be anything going Manchester United's way as Whiteside went down, decided against it. Not Whiteside, Gibson. Whiteside now for Manchester United. Gibson. Just got it through to Hughes. Played back for Olsen. And now for McGrath. Pushing everybody forward again. Stopped that time by Dickens, but only he is up. Cottee is struggling to get up alongside him, and I'm not sure whether Dickens is aware of it. Cottee is making a good run alongside him to Tony Cottee. Oh, tremendous piece of play by West Ham, and some fine keeping there by Chris Turner. And what a brilliant run by Dickens and by Cottee. And here's McAvenny now. McGrath taking it up for Manchester United, calming things down a bit, and finding Jesper Olsen. And the ball headed into touch by Gale. What a run by those two West Ham players there, David.
The boy Cottee is as bright as a button. I mean, the cleverness there. He knew he didn't have the legs to get past McGrath on the left-hand side, and he made terrific tracks in behind on the other side to take that pass. Absolutely super play by Cottee. He's a bright boy, only 20. He's had 3 good years. He's an improving player, good player.
Harris, who certainly has improved, but on this occasion has lost the ball to Duxbury. And now here's Strachan, trying something speculative across the face of the goal. The crowd cried for handball there against Devonshire, but again the referee said no, and here's George Paris now for West Ham. Cottee, Pike, Dickens. Ward. And they're taking off Mark Higgins. So it would seem likely that they're going to gamble with 3 at the back, do you think, David Fleet, now?
I would imagine so. They'll be happy to play Duxbury, McGrath and Albiston across the back and then try and get some thrust, more thrust coming from the middle of the field. Blackmore can play in a variety of positions.
Well, he's gone to right back at the moment and pushed Mickey Duxbury into a central defending position where Duxbury, of course, can play and play well. Linesman was flagging, but the referee is waving it on. He thought there was a foul on McAvenny. Now it's with Ray Stewart. Now he can hit them, and it comes off Gibson. Now they pushed Blackmore wide on the right at the moment. It's Whiteside. Blackmore, his first touch. And Paris kept it in play, but more than that has found Cottee. And now Paris has made the overlapping run for the young striker. But there's Blackmore. Now Whiteside. Gibson. Olsen. Stewart. McAvenny. And West Ham's throw. the first time in the afternoon I've heard the cry of Bubbles, the West Ham club song. And I can imagine there are a few thousand people in the East End of London with fingers and just about everything else crossed at the moment, wondering whether their favourites can hang on for another 12 minutes, leading by 2-0. McAvenny. Oh, through the legs of the defender. Dickens trying to get it on for Cottee again, and again Turner's there. Blackmore for Manchester United. Hughes. And a free kick for Manchester United right on the edge of the box.
At this stage of the game, the crowd become tremendous referees, and every ball knocked in there, there'll be cries for penalties and goodness knows what. And I must say, at this stage of the competition, the 5th and 6th round, only the best referees get the games. In this particular round, Neil Midgley, Keith Hackett, Brian Stevens, and they are the best referees that we have.
Well, it's the Manchester United free kick. And Strachan there pushing the referee out of the way. He wants to get on with it. Clayton Blackmore, and a corner as Hughes goes down holding his head. Whether the ball hit him there or what, I don't know, but that was very interesting. The referee was much more concerned about getting the wall back 10 yards, and all Strachan wanted to do was to get on with the game. Well, they've got another corner, Manchester United. Jesper Olsen with it on the far side, curling it in once more, and it's a goal kick. It's amazing. Each time these sides have met since the war, 3 times, the winners have gone on to win the cup. And the last time last year, of course, as I told you, United winning 4-2 here in the 6th round. West Ham's win coming in 1964. They beat United in the semi-final that year. Ronnie Boyce got 2 of West Ham's goals and Jeff Hurst won. Ronnie Boyce, incidentally, of course, who's on the West Ham staff and is here today. Here's Mark Ward playing it back. I wouldn't wish to tempt Providence for all West Ham fans, but do you feel they've now weathered the storm, David Pleat?
Yes, I don't think it's a clever thing to say at this stage of the game. They've taken the sting out. Manchester United's attacking is very passion-like rather than cultured, and I can't help feeling whenever West Ham do get clean possession, their passing has a bit more subtlety about it and a bit more touch about it, and there's a bit more understanding in their play.
But still, the pressure will be on West Ham, and if United could pierce that defence once, there is no telling.
Martin is doing a magnificent job at the moment, just calming them down, making sure the young lad Paris is right in his positioning. He's really leading them. He's taken over the Billy Bonds mantle with great aplomb for West Ham. I'm sure John Lyle must be very proud of this fellow.
Colin Gibson for Manchester United. Intercepted by Ward, but now Gibson takes it up again. Gets across in low. And it's a throw. And it was Martin who made the important interception there. That's a goal kick. And we're coming to 8 minutes remaining. Certainly Alvin Martin still, as you were saying, David, is clapping his hands and pointing to people, and his eyes are everywhere and making sure that every gap is filled. There's Big McGrath coming in again. Dale's got to backpedal, and it's not a time for any little niceties. It's a time for playing for safety. There's Pike again doing just that. It'll be a throw for Manchester United. Gale almost being strangled there by Hughes. United's throw. There's Martin again, this time watching Frank Stapleton. Really the cornerstone of this tremendous defensive performance by West Ham. Martin going for this one, but lost that one in the air. Strachan with a shot, but Alvin Martin's there that time. Blocked that time by Devonshire. They've worked so hard, West Ham. Gibson crossing it in. McAvenny right back there at the near post, getting it away. And on the watch, it's a little over 6 minutes. But here are United again. Duxbury this time. Playing it into Olsen. McGrath. West Ham still leading by 2-0. Clayton Blackmore the substitute. McGrath again. From a long way out and a goal kick. And the reward for the winners, if it is a reward, is a real tough tie away to Sheffield Wednesday. Whiteside, here's Alvin Martin again. Oh, a challenge there by Whiteside, but it didn't connect. McGrath playing it hopefully forward. Stewart up again well for West Ham. Oh, and now Ward has put United in possession. Hughes with the cross coming in, and Pike getting him out of some sort of trouble, but at the expense of a corner.
They've gone for several short corners recently, Manchester, rather surprisingly, rather than get it in the box quickly.
Well, they're going to go for the one that gets it into the box quickly this time. Olsen takes it. And Ward missing out. Blackmore with a shot. It's ricocheting everywhere, and Parks is down as Whiteside came in.
Lucky he held onto his head as well as the ball there. Mr. Whiteside was coming in, and he did the gentlemanly thing and held back.
Strachan. There's Blackmore with the fresh legs on the far side. It's a good-looking cross towards Stapleton. Got his header in, and Martin was there again for West Ham. Ward playing it on towards McAvenny. And now with Strachan. Little 1-2 going, another little 1-2 going, and it might come for Hughes. Great save again by Parks. What a hero this man's been for West Ham today.
Yeah, he's done terrific.
All the fire and fury in the opening minutes of the game, the opening minutes of the second half as well, and now in the dying minutes of the game, equal to everything.
He's a do-it-yourself expert in his spare time, and I really believe he's boarded up the goal today. He's been determined, nothing's going to get by him. He's been terrific.
Well, it's about 3.5 minutes, and United's requirement is 2 goals. And that's simply to take it into extra time. Now Gibson, they're not giving up though. Here's Olsen. West Ham have got everybody bar their 2 striking men back again. Orbiston playing it in. Gibson with a shot, charged down. They are throwing their bodies in front of it, West Ham, every time there's a moment of danger. And all credit to them, they are springing out well into attack as well, as Paris has here and found McAvenny. Potty is the only man up. There are 2, 4, 6 Manchester United players back. McAvenny. Has he got the better of Duxbury? Blackmore finds Strachan. It's Whiteside. Stewart, oh, and he may have put that into the path of Strachan. Little Strachan's on his way. Stapleton's taken up a position at the near post. It's gone beyond them all. And there was a chance for a moment there for Manchester United to snatch an opening goal. Disappointed Manchester United fans beginning to filter away from the Stretford end now. Behind Phil Parkes' goal, and Phil has been an absolute hero today. The goals have come from Pike and Stewart from the penalty spot, but you could certainly say the match winner has been the West Ham goalkeeper, Phil Parkes. 2 minutes to go. Alvin Martin penalised for a little shove on Frank Stapleton. Strachan playing it into Martin, to Hughes, and Gale is there with him. Blackmore, and a goal kick. 90 seconds of this cup tie now remaining. Quick summing up from you, David Pleat.
Well, as a team, West Ham have played very well. They've kept their shape throughout. Everyone's done a very good job. They've played with a great spirit with each other. They've passed the ball a little bit more sensibly at times. Of course, they had the cushion of the early goal.
And here's McAvenny. And here's McAvenny, and it could be 3, and he's hit the post.
Well, that's one chance he won't worry about missing. In fact, he's probably pleased it's gone for a throw-in.
And it's gone for another throw-in, that time off Whiteside. McAvenny right through. That could have been goal 22 of the season. I think it just deflected off the keeper. And we have about 30 seconds left, plus any time to be added on for injuries. Pike, whose header started this triumphant day for West Ham. McAvenny, a little back flick, looking to get in again. It's now Devonshire planting it wide for Ward. Stewart calling for it. But Ward may have other ideas. No, it comes to Ray Stewart. We've now had 90 minutes. We're playing time added on. As Paris goes thundering back towards his own goal. Back to the man, really, who's won the game for West Ham, Phil Parkes, with a string of absolutely brilliant saves at crucial moments in the game, too. Cottee, or rather Ward, now Pike. And Duxbury back to Turner. Played over half a minute of time added on at the end. The West Ham fans already beginning their songs of celebration. It looks as though they're heading towards the 6th round. Alvin Martin finding George Paris. In turn looking for Tony Cottee. Kept in play by him. Now McAvenny outnumbered 2-1, and Albiston will get it back. We've played a minute of time added on. The referee's looking at his watch, and West Ham go into the 6th round of the FA Cup, having won for the first time in the Cup since 1964 against Manchester United. Phil Parkes, the undoubted hero, delights from the West Ham terraces. A goal from Jeff Pike and a penalty from Ray Stewart, and we hope to be talking to Phil Parkes right after the break.
When a baby sleeps in a terry nappy, it can be a washout in the morning. When a baby sleeps in an ordinary disposable nappy, it can still be a washout in the morning. But when a baby sleeps in a new Pampers nappy, it's a different story. Because Pampers has a new waist shield, a unique built-in barrier, which helps prevent leaks so well, you're not out on your ear in the morning. And because we've put in special ventilation pores to let air to the skin, baby can breathe easy too, just like Teddy. New Pampers, breathe easy, they leak less.
For 20 years, man has demanded much of the Ford Transit. It has met every challenge and withstood the rigors of time. Now, the next next transit has evolved. A transit that's even more rugged, even more reliable. A transit with far greater load space. A transit that stretches fuel economy boundaries further. The new Ford Transit has arrived. The next chapter has begun.
No one has a fresher nibble than KP.
The end of MFI's biggest sale of the year. Last chance. Sale ends next week.
MFI, this is it!
Welcome to Ideas at the Daily Mail Ideal Home Exhibition at Earl's Court on until the 31st of March, 10 till 8, including Sundays, Good Friday and Easter Monday.
Right then, Manchester United 0, West Ham 2. The first time the Hammers have ever won here in the FA Cup, and their first win here for 10 years. We're going to talk now to the fellow who, in David Pleat's words, boarded up his goal. The Hammers keeper, Phil Parkes, and he's with Martin Tyler.
I think David Pleat in the commentary said, Phil, that you boarded up the goal.
Well, being a carpenter, that's not a bad idea, really. I bet it comes natural to me, yeah.
Have you ever had such a result here before in your long career?
No, I haven't, no. The closest we got was a 0-0 draw a couple of seasons ago. But today was the first time I've ever won here in all my years.
You seem to be conducting a personal duel with Mark Hughes.
Yes, yeah, it's... even in the previous games we've had up here, I've pulled up a couple of saves against him, and again today, same couple of saves, which if they'd have gone in, it would have been a hell of a game. I think.
This is early in the second half, a critical point in the match.
Yes, yeah, I didn't see it till quite late, but it was just at a nice height for me really to punch it away there, and then little Jasper I think hits it back in first time, and that's a good volley too. Yeah. Got up for a man of my age, quite good.
Well, you mentioned your age. What you won't know is that Jimmy Greaves has been saying all afternoon that you should be going to Mexico.
Oh, thanks, Jim. Yeah, it'd be nice. I've heard that they need a lot of building work doing over there, so being as I've got a building business, that's probably true.
But seriously, would you consider that if Bobby Robson looked your way?
It's hard to say, because I think really he's got to look for a younger man. At the moment, they're going on that there's no one around. But with Peter Shilton, you've got Ray as well up there. It's proved, I think Pat Jennings set a precedent for us, that we can go on life does go on after 35, and I think we've all got to try and emulate Pat now and keep going till 40.
Well, your life's certainly going on well. Well played, Phil.
Thanks, Martin. Cheers, thank you.
Yes, well done indeed, Phil. One or two of us still going on after 35. We must, though, talk about the penalty, really, that pushed the game West Ham's way.
Well, two penalty decisions.
Yeah, let's look at the
four.
first,
Yes,
the first one, really, given against Frank Stapleton.
Well, you know, we were saying we didn't think it was a penalty at the time. I think if you look at Stapleton...
for him, but he missed him, didn't he?
That's correct. He went to block him, which you do in situations like that. You know, try and block the path of the runner, which he did, and missed him. Right. But penalty was given.
We thought that might have been just a little bit on the harsh side. Then right down in front of us, Frank Stapleton involved again. And you in particular saying you were screaming penalty there.
Well, I thought it was a penalty. I mean, before we even had a look at the replay, it seemed to me to be a penalty because, you know, he goes into the box, picked it up, and he's moving in, and you can see, I think it was Raymond Stewart that came in from the side. Now, Frank had got his body between the defender and goal. And I think there, Raymond, you know, I think Stapleton made the most of it.
Yeah, but I don't think there was any doubt that was more of a penalty than the other one, Ian. But there you are.
Amazing how the games hinge on decisions like that.
But finally, Jimmy, you must surely pay credit to the way West Ham have played here this afternoon.
Well, it's as we said at half-time, Jim, and a bit, I suppose it's a bit of credit the way we said it, but, you know, they kept knocking the ball forward, and they could have got 3 or 4. I mean, let's be fair about it.
I'm very impressed with this West Ham side. I haven't seen a team, Jimmy, over the years from West Ham with as much grit and determination as this one. I think they're
because United did battle hard.
I'll have to stop you there. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you very much indeed. Right, the Big Match Live comes back next Sunday. It's Everton against Chelsea, that one, live again next Sunday. So the Hammers, London's last survivors. They go through here